Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Mona's Rants. I am your host, Mona Sheikh. You guys, very excited to be back. I wanted to, yesterday, I had my friend Alex Duong, who's a comedian on. He's an Asian comic, very funny guy. And we tackled the topic about the spike in hate crimes against Asians, especially in California. I mean, which is alarming. And I just didn't think that one episode was enough. I wanted to dedicate another episode, mainly because this spike is really disturbing. Because you think in terms of like, if it's always minority like communities that are always being targeted at some point. So if it's not the Black community, that's the Asian community. If it's not the Asian community, it's the Muslim community. If it's not the Muslim community, it's the South Asian. It's like some communities always being hurt and impacted. And I really wanted to take the time to delve into it and also get a female perspective because according to reports, they're talking about that Asian females are experiencing 2.5 times more hate crimes than their male counterparts. So I wanted to bring on a very talented comedian, a very talented producer. She produces Crazy Woke Asians, which is a very successful, live show. And she also does a lot of digital, content. And on top of that, she also has a romantic sitcom that's digital. It's called Sweet Sour Chicks, and maybe she can tell us a little bit more about it. Here's my very talented friend, Kiki Young. How are you?
Hi, Mona.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, thank you for being here. Kiki, I looked at your profile picture on your Facebook, and it's the 84-year-old Thai gentleman who was murdered.
Ugh, I was so angry about it. I was so mad. I did you see the video?
I have seen the video. Have you seen the video?
I mean, it's like, whoa, what happened? Like, I wish someone was there to protect him, and then it made me think, like, maybe he knew him. Like, it was 8:00 in the morning. That's his morning stroll, like he's just. And I think he was blind or something. I'm not sure, but maybe he didn't even see it coming. But the video was horrific, and it's just horrible. And then he died from that, like taking a stroll, and then you're dead.
I mean, the way this teenager slammed him down on the pavement. Yeah. When I saw that, and I was like, there's no way he's going to survive that. He's 84. He's so fragile to begin with. Kiki, I look at that and I think in terms of like my own parents or my grandparents, like this could be anybody's parents or grandparents, that doesn't necessarily have to be Asian. Like it's just elderly, right? Kiki, and I know we're part of the Asian culture. Like we really have a lot of respect for our elderly. Like we really, really value and respect and take care of our elderly. So when that happened, it really broke my heart. I wanted to actually ask you, and I don't know if you heard what I was saying, that they're saying that there are reports that Asian females are experiencing 2.5 times more hate crime than men. Have you personally experienced hate crimes?
I wouldn't say hate crime, but just little stereotypical comments, like I have this joke where it's not like someone want to kill me or push me or spit at me, because I would not I'm loud. Okay. You mess with the wrong Asian if you come at me. But I mean, I've had white middle-aged guys at the Chick-fil-A just started saying, ni hao, and we get that a lot. Like all my Chinese Asian girlfriends, they always get that, and we're supposed to be okay with it because it's not bad intention, but it's just like another form of harassment that I'm a foreigner, first of all, and second of all, I speak Mandarin, which I don't really. I'm from Hong Kong. I'm American, and but I mean, I try not to take too much offense, but I do know about all the Asian, especially like the middle-aged and elders, Asian women,
right?
Because we're I was brought up to be, docile and quiet and kind and smiley and don't speak up, don't speak up. Like,
that's right.
That's a virtue. Let it go. Just take a deep breath, swallow it, let it go. Be the bigger person. Well, no more.
That's right. No, but Kiki, one thing I've learned, look, I'm an immigrant like yourself. I moved from Pakistan when I was 15. I don't know what age you moved from Hong Kong, but, as well. Okay. So around the same age, right? Yeah, and the way we're moved, like when we're, the kind of cultures we grew up in, it was, for women, just like you said, be quiet, just swallow it, And I have become so petty and I am so proud of it.
I love it. Oh, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I've been seeing your post and I'm like, go girl, like that latest headline news that you have about you not being quiet. Like you just that's why I'm doing comedy. I'm like, I'm just gonna talk about it. Oh, someone did say tell me to eat bat soup because I commented on that video on my Instagram. I had DM from a guy. He was like, well, I'm gonna feed you coronavirus with bat soup. And I'm like, dude, he's like, oh, you talking smack about, feeding because I made, I don't want to just commentate because I'm a comedian, right?
Yeah.
As a comedian, I feel like it's not like I'm taking it lightly, but I want to put myself in the Thai grandfather's shoes, like they're so nice, so in the video, I imagine him praying to Buddha, like if he's hungry, feed him fried chicken. And then I got such slack from this little, I don't know, this guy or teenager who's like, you're talking shit, you want to say feed the black kid fried chicken. I'm like, no, the elders always want to feed the young kids food. Yeah. That's what and but he told me he want to feed me bat soup with extra coronavirus. So I made another joke that I don't like soup. I do like chicken hearts, but I like it plain without any coronavirus. But you just gotta snap back and clap back these days. Like you cannot. Like I was worried, like if I say something, people might take it the wrong way. But then that's how I feel. Like when I saw that video, I'm wondering. He is so kind. He must be praying for this kid for mercy because his life might be gone, right? If he's murder. But I think they didn't even. I think he's saying he's not guilty. He pleaded not guilty.
Oh so yeah, he's a teenage kid, right? He's a kid. So you also have to ask yourself, what's happening in your home that's compelling you to go out and slam older Asian gentlemen to the ground and kill them? Like his life is destroyed. This young teenager man's life is destroyed. This will sit on his record. I don't give a fuck how much he tries to fight it. It's gonna sadly go on his record. So you didn't just kill one person, you also destroyed your own life.
Yes. And then he also had a girl in the news. They said a girl drove up and he jumped in the car. So I don't know if it was premeditated, because he jumped in the car and he left. So it's like, okay, let me do this fun thing. And then he jumped in the car and left. So they arrested the girl too, or, brought her in.
Yeah, she's an accessory. She's an accessory to the fact. So yeah, of course they're going to arrest her. I mean, this whole thing about, and I know that, Trump has single-handedly played a very vital role in spreading this level of hate against the Asian community and, calling it Wuhan flu and China flu and Chinese flu and Kung flu or whatever the fuck he was saying, and just then laughing about it like, I'm so goddamn funny. It's like, bitch, when you rot in prison because your taxes are about to come out, we're fucking having the last laugh, you little bitch. I fucking can't stand that man and his entire fucking family. But I wanted to actually ask you, do you have any elderly, friends or parents of friends, and have they experienced anything where they've been harassed or been assaulted?
My friend who's an actress, she told me her family lives in San Francisco. I think it's not even now, but even before the coronavirus happened, they would, get people talking to them really rude or some push them but they just kept really quiet. Like that's the thing. The Asians are upset, like the younger people with the elders. They're like, you know what, this is not happening because of the virus. It's been happening for years. We are very quiet about it. It's also about the face. We don't want to make a big deal. We just want to save face and then feel shamed about it a little bit. So we don't speak up. But now it's enough. There's over 2,800 cases. Like it's not going away. I mean, there's a long history of all this stuff happening that was racist, like the Chinese Exclusion Act and all these. I mean, I just saw that on Instagram, this timeline of things. And I did a lot of screenshots of the things that happened that people should Google about it and not say, oh, it's okay. It is from Wuhan. It is, Kung flu. It's like, you cannot argue with these people because these people are just, they don't have that. They don't have that empathy, they don't care. Right. And then because of what Trump said, they started feeling like, today I was talking to my friend who's white and he's an elder too. And he was like, yeah, because of Trump, these people, these hate crimes, they just gave him an excuse to make fun. They give him courage. Like Trump gave him courage to like, hey, you Kung Flu, hey, you fucking go back to China. You brought this here.
Yeah.
But it's not fair because a lot of the Americans, the Asians are Asian Americans. They're born here. They don't even
right.
The Chinese or Asian language that the parents speak.
That's right. That's right.
You cannot clump all of us together.
Yep. That's right. That's right. How do you go walk up to a Thai person and be like, go back to China? The Thai person's like, I've never been to China. Why would I go back to China? What the fuck?
Exactly. But, like if you say that to the older Asian people, they usually just like try to not to, they don't want to cause trouble. They just, keep going. They don't report it. I didn't even know there was a thing to report it. But now you can report it at stop AAPI hate.
Hate.org. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And people are reporting these things and it's not fun. I mean, I'm glad I haven't heard too many incidents in Los Angeles. It's like a lot in Oakland, San Francisco, Queens. Like I saw another video the other day. This lady, she's like a 55-year-old aunt. I saw her coming out of the herb shop in Queens. I think it was Flushing. This guy just came at her and threw a hard tin box at her. 12 stitches. She fell. And then all the people just standing there like walk by. Nobody helped her in the video. And then they caught him and then they let him go on like somebody's gonna watch him or something. I think he must have a really good lawyer or something. They just said that it wasn't a hate crime, and that they let him go and he's gonna be supervised. And I'm like, supervised by who? Like who's gonna watch him? What? Like to make sure he doesn't throw tin boxes at Chinese people in Queens? I don't know how that happened. It's caught on tape and he got out.
You know what it's reminding me of, Kiki, is that I feel like it goes back to like legislation, right? What kind of legislation is protecting the Asian American community? So, for instance, like Congresswoman Chu, from California, she was on, and I was watching her interview, and she's talking about helping pass, this bill, this legislation they want to pass, which is strictly to protect the Asian American community, which I 100% agree. But I feel like when it comes to like hate crimes, the law makes it so difficult to define hate crime. For instance, back in 2013, I was at the Beverly Center, and I was walking through the parking lot, minding my own business, and I heard this white lady say, "You fucking terrorists," and I thought she was talking to somebody else, so I just kept walking. I didn't know that she was talking to me. I don't wear the hijab. I don't wear anything traditional, so I was just like, she couldn't possibly be talking to me. So I go and sit in my car, and she's like, yeah, you fucking terrorist, I'm talking to you. You fucking getting in your car? I'm like, what the fuck? Long story short, I get to exit and I'm just like, whatever, right? The Asian mentality, whatever, suck it up. I don't want to talk about it. I go and I'm trying to exit and I was trying to locate my ticket. She pulls up next to me and she goes, and she has her kids in the back. She has 3 kids in the back, ages 6 up to 12. And they're like, you fucking terrorist. Come back to where the fuck you came from.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know what the fuck happened to Kiki. Hindsight's 2020. I should have never gotten out of my car because I got so fucking angry. The New Yorker in me just fucking took over. I was like, you fucking bitch. What'd you fucking say to me? I got out of the car. She got out of the car. She kicked me in my shin. Right?
Oh my gosh!
I went back and I pushed her back as she got in a fucking Taibo stance and she tried to punch my face. Right?
Oh my gosh!
She tried to uppercut my face
in front of her kids.
Huh?
In front of her kids? Like
in front of her kids, she's trying to uppercut me. So as she as I ducked, my hair was down. She grabbed me by my hair and she got me in a headlock and she started yanking my neck. As she was yanking my neck, I fucking grabbed her on the other side and I yanked her neck down. And I'm trying to yank her fucking neck, right? Because I'm asking her to fucking release my neck. Long story short, this was a hate crime. Now, the camera recorded her attacking me, but because it didn't have the audio of her spewing these racial slurs at me, the case went and sat in court for a year. They refused to charge her on hate crime. They didn't even give her a slap on the wrist, and she walked with nothing. Nothing. Zero. Zilch.
That shows her kids, hey, mom can do it, you can too.
That's correct. That is correct. Right? That's like so hate is taught, right? She's teaching her little demons. They're gonna become little demons that they're gonna be like, it's okay to beat a brown woman. It's okay to kick down an Asian person. It's okay to do that. My mommy did it. She got away with it. Why can't I get away with it? Right? And for me, what it really resonated. Well, first of all, I had to go through neck surgery. They had to cut me open and put a metal disc in my neck because I've been sick ever since. I just have my body just broke down after that because my body just went through a lot of trauma because of it. And nothing happened to her. And it made me really kind of sit back and being like, wow, the hate crimes are defined as such that they make it so difficult for you to point out that these are hate crimes, right? So the hate crime says that the person has to be like, you fucking terrorist, I hate you because you are brown and I'm beating you and it's all recorded on video. Oh, okay, now we can count it as a hate crime. You understand?
That's crazy.
So that's the problem now, right? Where this guy is being supervised. Supervised for what? You little bitch. You fucking hurt an Asian person on purpose, knowing that they're Asian because you have some kind of fucking prejudice against an Asian person. You went and damaged this woman. Oh, but we can't touch him because we're not sure if it's a hate crime.
Yeah.
Are you fucking real right now?
Yeah, I think they need to change the way they word it. And
That's correct.
They were throwing in millions of dollars to revamp something. I saw it in the news about changing the law or supporting, anti-Asian hate crimes, to make sure these people are going to get punished.
That's correct.
So I hope. I mean, so what? So was there a lady charged with attacking you?
Nothing. She walked. Nothing happened to her. Nothing. After that, I tried to get lawyers to sue her civilly, and nobody would take my case because they said that I lost the criminal. Yeah, nobody would take my case.
But there was a video of her beating you and attacking you.
That's correct.
It still didn't matter.
That's correct.
Do an appeal now. Maybe it'll be different now that
So they're saying that the way because the statute of limitations over, the statute of limitations 2 or 3 years. So the way the camera was angled, when I go back because she kicked me, the camera doesn't quite catch that she kicked me first, but you see me going back first, right? So why would I go back first if somebody's coming at me? That doesn't make any sense. So turns out that she's a very wealthy white woman that lives in Beverly Hills, has her own children's clothing line that serves Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom. Yeah, very wealthy. Right?
Wow.
Got herself a high-powered lawyer.
What is her name?
I'll get you her name.
Yeah.
This little cunt. This fucking cunt.
Oh, that is a cunt.
She is a cunt. There's no other way to describe this. And she fucking got away with practically murder.
Yeah, I mean, because your neck is very sensitive. Pretty much affects your whole body, your spine, your
everything, dude. Oh my God. I mean, I went through hell with my neck surgery.
And she didn't have to even pay for your medical bills.
No, nothing. They didn't.
Oh my God.
The state of California said that they were going to pick up the tab on me for a hate crime. And after they dismissed the case, they're like, sorry, you're on your own. We're not paying for anything.
Shit.
It's fucked up. So for me, this is a very a personal thing.
Yeah.
Right? Even though my fellow Asian American community is getting attacked, I feel like as if I'm getting attacked all over again, right? Because it's too much PTSD for me to go back and look at it. Because I'm just wow, there's an older gentleman that got murdered. There's a 91-year-old gentleman that was this grandpa that was slammed to the fucking ground.
Yeah, and then someone else got left to right, just slit right in his face.
That's right. You're talking about Mr. Quintanilla. Is that who you're talking about? And he's such a sweet man. When he speaks, it breaks your heart. You're he's such a sweet man.
And then that other grandma that got lit on fire just walking down Brooklyn, and then she went, oh, I feel hot, and then she stopped the fire. But I mean, she could have been burned up. These two teenagers did that to her, just walking. And then also there was a woman in New York. She's pregnant with her child, standing at the crosswalk. Suddenly this lady comes up to her and just starts talking shit and then punched her. And then right here, I think it was Philadelphia. Yeah. In front of her child.
Sounds about right. Philadelphia? That sounds about right. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, That's crazy. She was pregnant too. I mean, that's just horrible. And it was on the news, but I think the media outlets needs to cover this more and more. So, people are aware you're going to get in trouble. You cannot get away with it.
That's right. That's right. But you know what it is, Kiki? Like the situation that you just described to me about the guy, who's going to be supervised after throwing a tin can at this Asian lady. That kind of stuff encourages more bad behavior, right? Because he's just like, you're going to supervise me. All right, I'm going to go out and commit some more hate crimes. All right. This white cunt who fucking, did this to my neck, she's encouraged by the system.
Yeah.
Nothing happened to her. Yeah. You think this was her first time attacking a person?
Oh, probably
it was not. She has done it before and gotten away with it, and she got away with it again.
She probably gets off on doing shit like that, because
she does. Of course she does.
Crazy. Yep. It's crazy.
Yep. I mean, let me ask you this: like, do your parents live here, Kiki?
No, my dad passed, and then my mom is in Hawaii. But what is your question?
My question was that for you having like elderly parents or grandparents, like fearing for their lives if they go out for a walk.
Well, my husband's parents are in San Diego, and we told them stay in, and she's like, "Don't worry, I already stay in. I don't go anywhere." She just goes straight shopping a little bit, but she's very aware. We're like, "Be careful, just maybe you should carry pepper spray or I don't know something." Just and then
or something, right? Yeah. I was watching this one interview of this lady covering. I think it was on like CBS News or something, and she's an Asian lady who's an activist and being very kind of proactive about talking about and speaking on behalf of her community. And she said something that really like killed me when she said this. She's like, I have friends. She said, I have girlfriends who are going out in the street, like who are going out to run errands, to live their lives, do their work, and they're doing their eyeliner a certain way so they don't look Asian.
Gosh, that's so
I was like,
wow.
So your look is your weapon? Your look is the thing that targets you? Like you have to change your face so somebody won't come and attack you because they're threatened by your existence because who the fuck knows what.
Right? It's like with the black people, right? With the skin color, right?
That's right. That's right. And Kiki, which brings me to a point, when the BLM marches took place. I mean, you were out there, you've marched in BLM marches, I've marched in 3 of them, you've marched in a few. This contentious relationship that has been around, given the Rodney King riots and stuff. And I was talking to Alex Duong about it yesterday. How much do you feel, that, Asian community leaders are stepping up and talking? But how much do you think other community members, maybe Latin community leaders, Black community leaders, to get up and basically come forth and be like, look, this is not acceptable. If we have young Black teenagers going out and attacking Asian people, we need to fucking have a conversation with our kids. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
so what are your kind of thoughts about that? Because Asian community has been out in full swing, just like South Asian community, in support for BLM, in support for in support for this bullshit about being anti-Black. What are your kind of thoughts on that?
Well, I feel like it would be nice for, the Black and brown community to come out and be like, this is unacceptable. Have a conversation with your kids. Yeah. But, and I also, on social media, I do see like before the Asians were afraid to speak up about it, especially during Black History Month, this month of February. I feel like I've been seeing a lot more like, anti-Asian doesn't anti-Asian doesn't mean you're anti-Black, like if you support the anti-Asian hate crimes doesn't mean you're anti-Black, like you're racist against the Black community. But it's just that we need to talk about the problems that's going on in the Asian community, so people are aware. It just so happens that some of the Black teenagers are attacking the Asian elders, but I don't believe it's all that represent all Black people,
No, of course not.
Yeah, but I think some people in the community, I'm sure some people in the Asian community, they feel like, oh, the Black people are hurting us. And then they just see that, like especially the more conservative ones who already have some kind of, prejudice against Black people. They would, but the majority from what I've seen and who I know, I mean, they're very supportive of BLM and equality, racial justice, and some of the Black people that I know, they're on social media, they're like supporting. I mean, for the Crazy Woke Asian show, I invited Black comedians on the show, and they're like very supportive of the show, of just being there and supporting the Asians.
Yes.
So I feel like, and then I see comments on those major pages like Asians with attitude, Asians never die. When they're posting like Jackfruit, when they're posting the Asian hate crimes, and then some Black kids would talk about, oh, you guys are trying to blame it all on one race and stuff. And I mean, I don't think we are. We're not trying to do that. And I believe if the other communities come up together and stand together and say this is not okay, I think it will help too.
Sure.
And I was just watching Judas and the Black Messiah. Have you seen the movie?
Oh yeah, I'm watching it right now. Yeah,
it's so great. It's
so great. Yeah.
And you know how when the leader, he got the Puerto Ricans and the rednecks and to come together to speak and stand against the inequality. It really worked. I think we got to keep standing in solidarity and just keep on voicing and sharing, and not feel like if we talk about the Asian hate crimes, then we're like not acknowledging the inequality of the what's happening with the Black people, right? Like it shouldn't take away from that, right?
That's
like,
right. Listen, BLM is still right. I will always support BLM, right?
Yes.
I know that you will always support BLM, right?
Yes.
But that also doesn't mean that I'm gonna ignore crimes against Asians.
That's
right?
crazy.
Right.
That's like something whack with me. If we did that, we're like, yes, we fight for Black people, but then for our Asians, we're like, shh, don't talk. It's like, are you stupid? Like, why would you not speak up? Like, we all need to speak up, especially if we care about our Asian elders as much as we say we do.
That's right.
I mean, there's enough of us that we're affecting the economy. We're contributing to society. Like, why can't we be equal?
Yep. That's right. Listen, you know this. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, but Asians are the fastest growing minorities and the wealthiest minority in the country. Like that's a fact, right? And do you feel that brings a level of resentment from other minority groups?
Maybe certain levels, like, but I feel like those groups are kind of like, they're not aware of like the struggle too, like, I mean, I came from a middle class immigrant family, but my dad had nothing. He struggled really hard to get it, and then when we immigrated here, we had money, but still it was like through a lot of work. So it's not just like, oh yeah, Asians are smart, they're just rich, like, I feel like we worked hard, but maybe we work smart too, like I feel like maybe not all feel that way, but some, I certainly feel, that's why there is the model minority, but also it's because the system creates that, right? To divide us, right? The model minority myth. So that
look at this one. If this the minority group can do it, why can't you do it?
Exactly.
It's like pitting ones against the other, and it's just like,
so you won't be strong together, right? So even the Asians, it's like the Chinese versus the Japanese, or the Koreans, or like the East Asians versus the South Asians, like it's always like, come on, let's all just stop that.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. First of all, it's exhausting. I feel like it's exhausting. The dividing part is so exhausting. It's just like, I can think of at least 10 better things to do with my life, right, than to sit here and hate on any minority group. Like, it's fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
We have some comments here. Kuro said, this is just anti-Asian racism returning to the surface. He says, as anti-blackness is common among Asians, so is anti-Asian racism among Blacks. I don't know. Maybe among certain people. I feel like, I was making this point yesterday with Alex. It's like, whenever one person from a minority group does something bad to another minority group, all of a sudden that entire group of people are not defined by that one person's action.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's not true. Come on, use your common sense, people.
Right? It's like, wait, but that one person defines their entire race? Yeah. That's not even possible.
Right.
Okay. Christy Shea says, I've heard a lot of racial insults against Asians by so many various races of people, just in conversations alone. I think part of it is jealousy because Asian culture commonly cares for solid education and hard work. And the perception by so many is that Asians are successful. I am very sorry for what you went through. Obviously, police and courts are not always fair. The world definitely knows this. I wish you the best in your healing. Thank you, Christy. I appreciate that. Kuro said America has a racial hierarchy, and for some Black people, being at the bottom makes them resentful towards Asians who are above them technically. What do you think, Kiki?
Well, because of that, the system, how it was set up, I've been studying like how the history was like with the bank and the system, how it was like the areas where the Black people live, they're like the land doesn't worth as much, and they don't get as many banks to loan them money to buy houses.
Sure.
So that whole system is all jacked up, It's like, how do they? The race is not fair in the beginning, and then you come these people that seems like, oh, because they brought us to do the railroads, right?
That's right.
And then it's like, oh, these people come, they're working hard, oh, they pay us less, and then somehow they're opening these, dry cleaners or restaurants, and then they're moving up somehow. But then how come this group of people is still like, of course, it's human nature, right? Like, why?
Right.
This is not fair. Like, we've been here longer than you guys. Why, So I don't have the answers, but I understand how you feel. Like, it's not fair, and how can we do it? But then also people are like, the affirmative action, stop giving handouts, stop picking people because they're colored for the job and stuff like that, But then you did not set them up for success too, though. Like, you cannot forget how it wasn't that long ago that people were, slaves, and
That's right.
it was the Civil War.
I mean, this country has 400 years of slavery as its background setting, right? You know what, Kiki? I feel like it goes back to this one point that I've been really harping on a lot, which is the humanizing, right? When Kiki Young is just looked at as if she is like, she's just part of a group of being Asians, right? Kiki somehow is not her own person. Kiki somehow is not an individual. Kiki's humanity is getting lost because she's being wrapped up in lumped in, like, those Asians. Or Mona's humanity is being wrapped up, those South Asians, those brown people, those Indian, those Pakistani people, like those people, right? So it takes away your humanity, and people just look at you as if you just belong to this one group and you don't really have your individuality, right? So the only people who really can afford any level of individuality are white people, of course, they said at the top, maybe some Black people, but you have to be like super accomplished, like Beyonce and Jay-Z, right? While other Black people are not, looked at as humans and not humanized, right? And just forget about Asians, South Asian, right? We're just like, oh, don't you people all talk like this? And it's like, American born? No, we fucking don't, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like the humanizing part is such a huge factor in this kind of dissipating this level of hate, towards people. I mean, Kiki, when you guys moved here, did you? I mean, it's that immigrant struggling story, right? When you went to high school, did you get picked on a lot by kids?
Well, yeah, I stopped talking. Like, I had a British Chinese accent. I used to talk like I'm from Britain, but not really, but like with a Chinese accent. And they're like, where'd you get that? Huh? And then I would be so scared. And then my dad, he used to
Did you go to inner city high school? Where'd you go?
It was Bothell in Seattle. It's like this town, only mostly white people. Even the one or two Asians, they're white, like they're proud they don't speak Korean, or they're only like, and which is fine. And my parents moved us there, which is the crazy thing, on purpose. It's like the boonies. I call it the boonies, because they didn't want me to hang around other Asian people in Chinatown, so I can learn English, so I don't speak Chinese, so I can adapt faster, so I can be more successful. So that is why we moved there, which is horrible. Like they had to think like that to protect us in a way. They think they were protecting us, but in turn, it really harmed me in a way, because I stopped speaking, because I'm like, man, I have this accent, I can't really speak English. They laugh every time I talk. I'm really afraid to read in English class. Whenever they tell me, I'm sitting there like my hands sweat. I'm like, please don't tell me to read. Please don't tell me to read. And then when I talk, I have to think in English before I translate it, because I was still speaking, some Cantonese. But now I think in English when I go back to Hong Kong. They're like, you sound like a baby, because, my Cantonese is not perfect anymore. So it took a long time for me to really adapt. and adjust to it. But and then I would wear these clothes, like my dad manufactured like Walt Disney clothes. I had like a big old Mickey Mouse on my jacket. The kids walk by, they see me, they're like, she's wearing a Mickey Mouse shirt, like she has a Mickey Mouse jacket, like just little things like
cool, because you're not cool if you wear Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, just little.
It's too childish. It's too little. You're too old to wear Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, and they'll call me weird and hyper because I was so high energy, and I didn't care. Like, I think the Americans, they have, when I first moved here, they have like a lot of hierarchy, even in high school. Like, like who's the cool kid? So, and I didn't know any of that. I didn't, and then like those slang words, I didn't understand. So it was not easy, but it's not as tough as some people have had it for sure, but it was very sheltered and, and it made me, and then every time I was trying to do, acting or performance, it was always like, there were no roles. There's all roles for the white people, like Shakespeare. I mean, whatever, like in drama school too. I mean, so I created my own Asian American theater group, so we wrote our own stuff. And then now I have crazy woke Asians because I have to. Like, I'm not going to be the token Asian girl that they expect to say this. They think we all say the same shit, right? But you and I are different, or me and Alex is different. He's Vietnamese, I'm Chinese, not Mandarin Chinese, like Hong Kong Chinese. There's a different, not Taiwanese. You know what I mean?
That's right. Mainland China is different than somebody who's from Hong Kong. My very first boyfriend was from mainland China.
Oh.
My very first boyfriend was from mainland China. Very handsome. Came from a lovely family. I loved his parents. I would get so much money from his parents. They would spoil me rotten. They were lovely. They were just lovely human beings. I think I like his parents more than I liked him. But I was like, your parents are so awesome. They were just lovely, lovely people. But I think it's stuff like that, I mean, I think it's like the human stories. How much do you think, the like Daniel Day Kim, Aquafina, a lot of like Asian, Olivia Munn, she's half Asian. They're stepping up and they're really speaking out against these, crimes, the spike in, do you think when they step up, it makes an impact? What do you think it does?
Well, I think the money thing helped. Like when Daniel Day Kim and Daniel Wu was like, I'm going to pay $25,000 to catch the guy who did this.
But they didn't catch him, right? They didn't catch the guy?
I think they did, but I'm not sure if it's because of the reward. They caught the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it gives it to another level, and then they started talking with Lisa Ling, and then they start getting on news outlet. It helps some, it helps to be aware. But for the whole middle America, I don't know if they care. They're just gonna be saying, oh, these yellow folks on there talking about what? Like who, like will they really care? So I think there needs to be some law, changed.
No, listen, the Congresswoman Chu from California, like I mentioned to you, she is hardcore. I mean, even Biden came out and, because it was brought to his
the executive order that was great. And then I saw in social media so many Trump supporters like, oh, really, Biden? You worried about the Kung flu right now? You signing stuff for the Asian when you should be concerned about, the virus and all the other things. And I'm like, well, they don't get it.
They don't.
But,
I mean, listen.
Now, if there's a law, when they get in trouble, they won't get away with it.
Right. I mean, also, you also have to understand, Kiki, like, you made a really good point before when you said this lack of empathy, when you don't have like just that basic human emotion of having the ability to feel for somebody's pain, it puts you in like this really fucked up position where you're just like, I can say fucked up callous things and do fucked up callous things, and because it doesn't impact me, so who cares? I mean, look, a white person never has to go and get a specific kind of eyeliner and fix their eyes or fix their face or whatever the fuck, right, to appear less white. They don't have to do that. Yeah. Nobody's coming to attack you because you're white.
Yeah.
Right? Your physical life is not fucking threatened. No, I'm not coming after you and calling you a fucking school shooter. Or I'm not coming and calling you a fucking mass shooter while trying to fucking attack you in a goddamn parking lot.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. You don't have to worry. So I think people have like this real lack of compassion where they're like, doesn't fucking pertain to me. It's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to my kids. It's not going to happen to my grandkids, not my parents. Fuck them. Who cares?
They see you as the other. Like they put you separate. It's like us versus them, right? So they don't care. They don't give a shit. That's why there was slavery and all this racism and try to just after the railroad, just push us somewhere and just bomb us. Just put the Japanese in camps.
Yep. Kiki, I feel like, the American history, it also, the way it just glazes over slavery. It's like, and then Thanksgiving happened and all the Native Americans got together with the, with the folks coming in on the fucking Mayflower. And then they just had a turkey. And it's like, did you forget about the fact that you gave them a fucking blankets with chicken
Yeah.
pox in them and then damn near fucking annihilated the Native American race? Like, what? You just, and I feel like when you glaze over such huge swaths of history, that is not good, right? It doesn't reflect the barbarism that this country has been built on. What it does is that it sets up young people to be like, well, I don't know. There's no history about it. This is just happening now. So it must be something else. And it's like, no, you don't understand. This is historical. This has been happening. Like, crimes against Asians have been happening for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. And I really want to ask Kiki, and I asked Alex this, but I also want to get your point of view on this. Why is it in the Asian culture, that the elderly or even the young folks, don't wanna rock the boat, don't want to speak up? Where does that come from, Kiki, culturally? Where does that come from, you think?
Because they've been taught when they were very young to not make too much noise. Don't make a fuss about stuff. Like, be the bigger person.
Why though? Why? Going back to Buddhism, going back to forgiveness. What does it go back to? Where if somebody's doing unjust things to you, that you won't speak up, right? To me, like, on a psychological level, it goes to me about people crossing your fucking boundaries, and you're not telling people, back the fuck off. You're crossing my fucking boundaries. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe it comes from, like, we are strong. If we get affected by you, like maybe from the Buddhist and Taoist perspective, then we're weak. Like, if we retaliate, we talk back. I don't know. It just came to me, this thought. Maybe that means you're being affected. You're reacting. You're being weak by reacting, by believing what they're saying. It's like we're so like, oh, we're bigger than this. You cannot affect us. Oh, it's okay. Oh, let's just keep moving forward. We're in America, we don't want to get in any trouble. Don't want to get in trouble either. Because, the immigrants, they don't want to get in trouble too,
What does that mean? Like, if somebody's attacking you and you're speaking up to be like, I am being cut and hurt and damaged, how is that causing trouble or making problems? I don't understand.
They're afraid to talk to the police, especially if, like, the elders, they don't speak very well English. It could be maybe they have had experience with police that didn't go very well too. Like it's like there's a Chinese saying, chicken talking to the ducks. It's like you speaking two different language. Like,
chicken talking to the duck. All right.
Like, it's like, what? What's no result? Or maybe they've tried before and nothing happens. Or, they feel threatened, like maybe something will happen to their family. I think a big thing is too, maybe if they retaliate, they might hurt their family. Because we're all about family, protecting each other. So maybe the elders, like, I don't want to talk back, say anything. Then maybe the police will come harass, or maybe the attackers will come, throw rocks at the house, or attack my son or my grandkids. That would make it even worse. So they might not even say anything to their kids that it happened. Because I think my friend told me, the one in San Francisco, the parents didn't even want to tell her. They don't want them to worry. Right? It's like, okay, well, I'll be more careful and not go out as much, and then pray to God or Buddha that this won't happen again. So, and it's been happening for decades. So now it's like out of control. And now we have iPhones. People are filming stuff,
That's right. And, Kiki, because we're also in the middle of a pandemic, people have their faces covered. They have hats. So it's harder to track fucking people down because their faces are covered because of the pandemic. So everybody's like face. So it's like, how do you identify these people? How do you identify them? James here has a question. James is a loyal fan who watches this. He's been watching it since the beginning of the Mona's Rants have started.
Nice.
So he's been there since episode 1, and I'm on episode 126. So he's a loyal fan. James is awesome. He said, we've had the Me Too movement and BLM. Do you think these movements will evolve into a movement to stop the race hating that Trumpy and MAGA has brought on? What do you think?
I hope so. Like, they will evolve into a. I feel like the Me Too BLM. Yeah, I mean the BLM has their agenda for championing Black people, right?
Yes.
And I feel like they're really focused on that too. And the Me Too for women. So I mean, if like the Stop AAPI Hate.org and those Asian organizations will take the lead, because I know that I've been seeing more and more people post about all that stuff, like where you can report like social justice, AAPI social justice, those organizations. I think if they started moving forward, like more of us march. I was thinking someone needs to have organize some kind of march or protest or something in LA. It hasn't happened yet.
Yes.
I mean, I think there was like from the China Mac. Have you heard about he had the protest in New York, and then they came to LA for a day or two, like during the summer or something. But I feel like right now, like the local, LA people, the LA Asians, we need to organize something, and just like if each state in California do something, or each state in the whole country do something, the Asians band together. I think that might shake something, and might
listen, Kiki, you organize one, or there's one happening, I'll be right there. I will march side by side next to my Asian brothers and sisters. I mean, look, I feel like when there is injustice done, it's very much in the words of Martin Luther King, when there's injustice done to one person, it's as if it's injustice to all of humanity. People keep talking about the Asian race and the South Asian race and the white race and the Black race. There's only one fucking race. It's the human race. And when the aliens come here, they don't give a fuck if you're Asian or white or Black. They're fucking coming after all of us. Because our basic needs to survive are exactly the same. And I think people really fucking forget that. It's really sad. Are you thinking about organizing like a march or something?
I've been thinking. You want to organize one? Well, I've been.
Whatever I can help with, I'll help you.
Oh, really? I've been doing the show. You should come on as a judge, okay? Like we've been doing this competition where we have 3 comedians, and it's all COVID safe because they get a negative test before anybody can perform. And we live stream from Santa Monica, and we just did a show Saturday, and then I put up the videos of the grandpa and the grandma's getting attacked, and then it's called a Panda News headline, and then the comedians have to come up with 1 or 2 sentences like headlines, but funny. So I'm trying to partner like comedy with social justice. Like I
like it.
You like it? You should come.
I like it a lot. I would love to do it. Yeah.
Really? Because we're doing it every month till June. I would love to.
I'm down. Let's do it.
That would be super fun.
I'm down. Honestly, Kiki, I'm all about like, look, I'm a big. I'll come out and support, man. I'll do whatever. Like, you want me to come out and support, promote? I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great to. Where should we have the march? We should do it in Chinatown. I think they had something, but
we can do it in K-Town. We can do it in Chinatown.
From Chinatown through K-Town, through Japantown, through Thai Town.
How many miles is that?
I don't know. We should find out.
That's
Anybody know? Your guess?
That's a long walk. Yeah, I wonder if we can. I wonder if you can Google map it. I wonder how long before that my lower back starts kicking in.
We'll go get massages. Go get foot massages.
Go get some Thai massage right after that.
Yeah. And walk through St. Gabriel Valley too, Monterey Park, the whole
Monterey Park. That's true. Monterey Park's massive. I mean, Monterey Park would be great actually for.
And there's so many restaurants got hit by it. Like they have all the outdoor tents, and there's so many closing. So many got less business, because of this corona, this anti-Asian thing. But I mean, Chinatown is pretty dead. Like I went there. I mean, I've seen these restaurants trying to get GoFundMe so they don't close down. They've been around for 30 years,
Yep. I mean, who's gonna serve Jewish people on Christmas?
Right? Or all of us.
All of us. Like, I'm not Christian. I'm Muslim. I want my Chinese food.
Yeah.
I want my Thai food. I want my Korean food. I want my sushi. What the fuck?
And isn't that funny? Like, I bet all these Trumpsters, they love Asian, but I bet they eat the Kung Pao chicken. They eat a cookie.
Of course they do.
But then they're like, oh, fuck you guys, Kung Flu. Kung Flu, go back China. Right?
Oh, I love curry, but you fucking curry muncher. Get the fuck out. Oh. Motherfucker, if it wasn't for my curry, I had to be here to make this curry for your sorry ass. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's fucking ridiculous. I don't know if you heard like a while back in Alabama. By the way, Alabama, which is funny story. A lot of the South Asians that are there are scientists. I mean, they work for NASA. They're just brilliant people. And this two Indian guys walked into a bar and they were just catching up. They were just having a drink. And this some redneck crazy motherfucker was just like, y'all need to get the fuck out of my country. And they're like, hey man, we're just having a drink. And he goes out, gets a gun, comes back and shoots them both and kills them both, right? So this is real. Like this level of ignorance and hate. You also have to think like, did he not care about his own life? Did he not have people in his life that would be impacted? Like, how much hate does it have to be in your heart to pick up a gun and shoot somebody just because you heard something on the media that it didn't fucking translate? Oh, these brown people are coming to take over your country. We're not. We can barely take over our own countries.
Exactly.
What the fuck are you talking about? Like, we're just here making a better life for ourselves, just like your ancestors did, right? That's the only reason we're fucking here. But, it's like stuff like that, Kiki. It almost feels like minority groups are like this kind of merry-go-round, right? It's like September 11th happened. Oh, anybody Muslim, anybody Arab, anybody South Asian, right? Me and my family were part of that grind, right? Then we have a virus from China. Oh, now it's the Asian American community, right? Oh, and then they don't when all that dies down. Oh, let's go back to killing black people.
Yep.
Oh, we're gonna give black people a little bit of break. Now we're gonna go after Latinos. It's this constant fucking merry-go-round of picking on each minority fucking group. Like, can we just catch a break? Can we just stop with the fucking hate? You don't see Asian people picking up a gun and going after these motherfuckers that are killing and hurting their elderly. They're not going to do that.
Smart. Yeah.
Smart. They have too much at stake, Kiki.
Yes.
At stake. Yeah. You're not going to do that shit.
They don't hate that way. They don't want to take a life. They don't think like that. I don't understand. Maybe it's something in the brain. They snap. You're right. Like, what about your own life? You shoot two people and kill them. Like, your life is over, dude.
Did you not have a wife? Did you not have a girlfriend? Do you not have kids? What about your parents? What about your siblings? Everything you built or maybe worked for. What happened to all that? You don't think about how many lives are being impacted in that moment of hate that somehow you've juiced yourself up to think. Like, I don't know, Kiki. None of that like makes sense to me when I'm just like, you don't really think that one through, did you? Or maybe it's kind of maybe goes back to this white lady getting away with hurting me. Right? She got away with it. So she's like, so maybe these white folks think, hey, I can do this and I can get away with it because the justice system's on my side.
Imagine that 6-year-old saw her mom do that and got away. Come on, that's like already really programming, ingraining in the brain that, this is how it is. We're better, okay, than the black, brown people.
That's right.
We're the boss of this country called America. You guys are just here. We can kick you out anytime we want. And just remember that. And I think that's why there are attacks. They want to show the white power, like, hey, we can kill you. Okay? Yeah. I don't care about my life. I'm doing it a service for Americans, for all the white people. I think maybe that's what that guy was doing when he shot those two Indians, right?
Yep. That's exactly what he. And yep. I mean, we have Automator here. He said, every group of people fought wars and conquered other tribes for land, etc. My European ancestors just did it more effectively and established all the first world countries where everyone wants to live. Well, given the current situation, I don't know about if everyone wants to live. I mean, look, I know a lot of people, from India, even from Pakistan, who are just like, dude, I don't want to live in America. I don't feel safe. Like, I'm going back. Like, I don't feel safe living here because I don't know what's going to happen. There's also this kind of sentiment because you know what it is, Kiki? My family came to the U.S. because I mentioned this a gajillion times on my live stream, but I have 4 older brothers and 2 of my brothers were given expired vaccination for polio and they got polio because of it. So our family came here to seek treatment for my brothers because my mom was writing letters to hospitals around the world and saying, I have 2 sick kids and they need help, right? And then Shriners Hospital in Lexington, Kentucky finally responded, and they were like, "Yep, we'll take care of your kids. Come on up." And that's how our family started coming to the U.S. Right? That was so. My mom has this thing where I asked my mom, I was like, "Ma, did you ever, when you lived in Kentucky, of like the whitest of the whitest state, I was like, did you ever experience any level of racism, any level of hate?" And my mom was like, "People were so nice to me." She's like, "I would be praying," because my mom's pretty religious, and she's like, "I would be praying, and these surgeons and these doctors would stand by the door and they would wait for me to finish my prayers." Right? So my mom's concept of America is one of love and compassion and caring and people being kind and nice and welcoming. So this Trump America that came along, this level of like hate and fucking go back to where you came from and all that bullshit, she's like, "I don't recognize it because I didn't come into that America. I don't know what this America is." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I do agree. There are a lot of amazing white people. Like I have a lot of amazing,
So many amazing white people, right?
and that they're great. And we're not saying we hate white people. You know, we're not saying, we're just saying that, you know, there's a problem that the white
we call them white supremacists, right?
yes, white supremacists.
Right.
But there are some that don't think they are, but then in their minds, like, you know, people that I do know that they are in a way very prejudiced, but they don't even think they are, but they would never outspokenly say it, but it's the thoughts about it, you know. Like I have a friend that told me, like, "You really think there's so many racism going on? Like, why would everybody want to immigrate to America if it's really that many? It's just, you know." And I'm like, well, I've always felt like an outsider, even though I've been here for 25 years. And I mean, I've had a lot of friends that experience it, and the crime, I had to list all the facts to my friend to show that it is happening, and you don't even know. Exactly.
Right. I mean, Kiki, like the white woman who attacked me, she has very white supremacist point of view. She may not consider herself a white supremacist, but her point of view and what she's teaching her kids are.
Yeah, and she probably, maybe she's not part of the KKK or anything, or
not part of the KKK.
Right. Yeah, right. But
she's not running a cross in her fucking backyard, right? She's not, she's not doing it. She doesn't have a fucking pickup truck or whatever those fucking horrible stereotypes are, right?
Yeah.
But that mentality is, and and it's I think it's Martin Luther King who said, the most dangerous person in America is the white moderate, right? The people who quietly just sit there and just watch the whole thing play out. They're like, "I don't need to be a part of it." I mean, look, how did Hitler come into existence? It was the Germans who sat quiet. It was the moderate Germans who were just like, well, it's because of our country, because we're German, so that's what we're doing. We're just doing to protect our country. And it's just like, no, under the guise of nationalism, you're talking about ethnic cleansing. You're talking about murdering 6 million Jews, which they did.
Yep.
It's some fucked up shit, Kiki.
It is.
My friend, I know I want to be mindful of your time because I know you have to go. Tell me a little bit more about your Sweet Sour Chicks sitcom.
So it's a romantic comedy about like a Asian American stand-up comedian / single mom and her girlfriend. So it's kind of like Yellow Sex in the City, the fabulous Mrs. Maisel, but like modern. So that, because I love both of those shows, and I wrote it, I directed it, and I acted in it too. And awesome. And we raised money for it. So I was like, really, just, it was a miracle that we got it made. So now we just finished post-production. So we'll see where it goes.
Do you have a pilot shot? Is that what you guys shot?
Oh, no, I funded the pilot, and then I raised money for the series. So we were trying to get it on the short form platforms. But so it was like 4, 5, 10 minutes episodes,
Got it.
Yeah. And I'm writing, expanding the season and the next season and stuff. Yeah. So you should be in it when I film again.
I'll be the brown chick that shows up.
You'll be the hot brown friend that she meets in the mom's group,
I'll be the brown chick that shows up with my Prada bag and my that's really playing to the stereotypes of how wealthy Asians are. We're like fucking struggling. Huh?
I try not to see because she's a stand-up comedian, so I want to show the other side, that she's not like the rich chick, like she's like struggling, she's getting divorced, she's like kind of disgraced with her family, she's like trying to figure out her sex life, like like with a 3-year-old son, like just all that stuff and trying to make it in Hollywood, and yeah. So I'm trying to show a different side of like the Asian American experience that I haven't seen on TV. I haven't seen anything about Asian American comedians, like a movie or show, right? No, we haven't.
I mean, since Margaret Cho, I mean, then you had,
It wasn't about her being a comedian, though.
No, it wasn't her about being a comedian.
Yeah. So I wanted to show like Asian Americans being artists, performers, like, and show that side. Yeah, right. That was like my goal to do.
Have you watched? Do you feel? Bling Empire, Crazy Rich Asians. Do you think they portray Asians? They kind of perpetuate that stereotype and increase that level of kind of maybe hate or even prejudice towards the Asian community? What do you think?
I think half. Some people are like, oh, that's great. Like my Black friends, they watch it. They're, oh, that's so really cool. That's awesome. And then some are like, I think like that. Some Asians would be like, I think more than that is the Asians that are thinking it's perpetuating it, But I mean, I guess like the white people, the Black people are like, oh, that's cool. Then, I think some white people are like, oh, I didn't know that Asians are that rich. Like, wow, they're really extravagant. And I like how Crazy Rich Asians show like they're sexy and leading men, and they can have sex and they can take off their clothes, like but for like the Asians, I know the criticism with Bling or House of Ho. The one on HBO. I actually really liked House of Ho. Like I really like this.
I've been wanting to watch it actually. So now
watch it. Like I love the Vietnamese language and culture. I had a lot of Vietnamese boyfriends. So I was like, oh, she's like a newly divorced mom of 3 kids, and she's a badass, and she just really sharing her feelings, which I never really see a multi-dimensional Asian character. Even though it was reality show and they're rich, but at least I felt I related to her. Because she's a mom, and she's like, her parents are like, you shouldn't get divorced, but she's doing her own thing, But with the Bling Empire,
is it scripted or unscripted?
It's reality. Bling and House of Ho are both. Yeah, so House of Ho is about a rich Vietnamese family, and the dad is hilarious, and he named all of them after presidents. So the daughter's name is Julie, because she's a girl, but the son, he named him Reagan, and I forgot the other one, but it's funny. Like they're funny. Like I liked it. I haven't had that much time to watch Bling Empire, but I mean, I've been seeing social media. These Asians are like, you perpetuating the stereotype, but I don't know. I mean, maybe that's what the white people in America wants to see, like us being that way, though. So it's kind of a catch-22, right? Like, you don't show them something new and do well, then how are they? So right now, all the white producers, creators, they're like, they want to capitalize. Oh, Crazy Rich Asians made millions and millions, right? Okay, let's make more. So that's why it's all the rich Asians, right? Like maybe next show will be the rich South Asians, right? They haven't shown like the side where it's like the struggling artist, comedian, or like the single, or like teenager trying to make it. Like I feel like maybe when it's shown more, like, so that's why, like, as creators, I feel like we have a responsibility to create more, but also not stomp on the other shows like that. Just and it's sad too. We're like, oh, we should be grateful we're even on there. There's some kind of it's like that's our fucking mentality. Like we have to think like that.
You know what it is, Kiki? I've thought about that, right? So for like in the South Asian culture, like for us, we've had the Indian matchmaking. That was a big hit last year. Of course, we got Mindy Kaling has her own show. Padma Lakshmi has Taste the Nation.
That's so great.
Yeah, so we have like these, but I feel like when minorities are, I think Asians and South Asians are the new kids on the block in America, especially when it comes to the arts. And I feel like, fuck it, everybody gets their start somewhere. Fuck it.
Exactly.
Let us get a start here, right? Yes. Let's establish a little bit more. Let's have some Asians and South Asians and Blacks and Latinos in positions of decision making. Right. So it's not a bunch of old straight white dudes just sitting there and being like, I don't think that's good. Right. Puffing on their cigar and getting an almost fucking heart attack. And I'm just saying, like, it matters. Like when you start moving people into positions of power that are the decision makers, that's where the real change and the impact happens. Right. So, I mean, did I like Indian matchmaking? It was very shallow, but was it great, fun, entertaining? Sure. I've had one of the bachelors that was on there. I had him on my podcast. I've had him twice. He's a really nice guy. He's awesome, right? But it's very interesting how, you know, I think some South Asians get very upset and they're like, well, you're just showing us in one light. At least let's just start somewhere. Yeah. Let's start somewhere. Let's get our fucking start somewhere. Yeah. Right?
That's the reality.
That's the reality. Fuck it. That's why we're getting our start. Fuck it. That's why we're getting a start. One last thing. James said, I predict that white privilege will start to diminish over time once this is no longer a white majority country. Well, that's what Trumpy and his supporters are trying to hold on to for dear life, because they know that, you know, that whites will eventually become a minority. And why should they be afraid? It's not like minorities get treated badly, right, Kiki?
Yeah, it's not like we're all suddenly be like, hey, you guys, the minority, fuck you guys. We're going to fuck you up now, right? Like, right. It's not like we're going to band together and do that. Maybe that's what they think is going to happen.
I think the white supremacists think that we're going to treat them the way they have treated us.
Well...
And, you know, I think, and I can definitely say, you know, in at least in the family that I grew up in, we believe a lot in forgiveness. It's like you forgive people, right? You let God, let God handle things, right? You forgive and you move on. So listen, as much as this woman came and damaged me, would I ever wish ill on her children? No, I wouldn't do it. I won't do it. It's not in my heart. I couldn't do it. But do I want justice and do I want her to be punished for what she did? Yes. Do I want something bad to happen to her kids? Absolutely not. Those kids have nothing to do with it. They're innocent. They don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know. It's not their fault, you know. Where can we follow you, Kiki?
Oh, you can follow me at Kiki Funny Mama, Kiki Funny Mama, or at Crazy Woke Asians, and then at Sweet and Sour Chicks. That's where you can, you know, follow and see where we're going to broadcast the show eventually.
Awesome.
Hey, I'm gonna message you about being a judge on the show. I'm serious,
dude. I'm down. I'm so down.
You'd be so great because I love how you're ranting and your mind thinks so fast. You're gonna take it to another level, like because the judges made it so funny. Like Bionique was falling off her chair because it was Black History. It's Black History Month, so we were celebrating. So I'm thinking about celebrating like Indian. I think there's the festivals in March because our March show is coming up. Yeah, they're well, I've been Googling. So I'm asking all my Indian friends about like the festivals and stuff. So we have a trivia that we quiz the comedians. So it's kind of educational, cultural, and racial. But I'll talk to you more later about it.
Okay, awesome. No, I'm down, Kiki. Let's do it. But okay, cool. Thank you so much for this great conversation. Thank you. And I hope you will come back again and talk to us.
Yes. Thank you, Mona.
Thanks, Kiki. Take care. Bye.
Yes, bye.
That was the lovely Kiki Young. I know you guys enjoyed that conversation because I definitely enjoyed that conversation. You guys, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. James said, thanks, Mona and Kiki. Sad topic, but great chat. Thank you, James. Appreciate it. You can follow me on YouTube at youtube.com/Mona Shake Comedian. Same on TikTok. Same on Facebook. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Mona's Comedy. You guys have a good evening. I will be back with a new guest. Good night. Wear your masks.